Hey y'all, we're working with 3 high protein lunches. We're just gonna dive right into the recipes today. We're starting off with a hamburger soup. This is great for meal prep. This is also great for dinner. You're gonna need an onion, 2 cups of Yukon Gold potatoes, 3 stalks of celery, 3 carrots, and a cup of green beans, and 3 garlic cloves. Get all those ready. First, we're going to heat 1 tablespoon of avocado oil in a pan, and then add your onion. Season it with salt and pepper to your heart's desire. And cook these until they are starting to get translucent. Then we're going to add our garlic, all 3 cloves, and we're going to stir this around for about 30 seconds until you can really smell that garlic. It should not take long. It smells fantastic. Now it's time to add our meats. I really like this recipe because it has a combo of turkey and ground beef, but if you're on Weight Watchers, you can do this all with a 99% ground turkey and make this really low in points. But I'm going to do half a pound of turkey and 1 pound of beef. I like the richness that the beef gives this, but you could do the turkey and keep the beef broth and you'd get a little bit of extra richness from that beef broth. Now I'm going to brown this meat and cook it until it's all the way done, and it will let my onions finish cooking at that same time as well. Just be a little patient. It should take about 5 minutes. Now that that's done, we're going to go ahead and add in our fire roasted diced tomatoes, the big, large 28-ounce can. If you can get fire roasted, it's the best, but if you can't find fire roasted, regular diced tomatoes will work as well. Then we're going to add in 2 tablespoons of our tomato paste. I'm going to give this a little stir just to make sure that tomato paste gets incorporated. Had I thought about it, I would have added the tomato paste first and stirred it in and then added the diced tomatoes, but it worked out just fine. So no problems here. Now we're going to add our seasoning blend. 2 tablespoons of Italian seasoning, a teaspoon of each salt and paprika, and then half a teaspoon of the following: black pepper, onion powder, cumin, and garlic powder. All of this will be in the description box below, of course. Now stir that in until it's all incorporated. Now we're going to add our 32 ounces of beef broth. I'm choosing low sodium. I like to control more of the amount of salt I have through my own fingers versus just whatever the grocery store gives me. Now is the time to add all of our veggies, throw all of them in. A little tip for you: when you prep your potatoes, if you want to go ahead and dice them up, put them in a bowl of water. That way they don't turn brown and they'll be ready for you whenever you're ready for them. And then right before I add them to my soup, I just drain off the water and then plop them in. No one wants brown potatoes. They'll be fine. They'll taste absolutely fine, but they won't look great. So here are our drained white potatoes. See how beautiful and white they are. No browning at all. And then we're going to stir this carefully because we did not choose a big enough pot. So if you have a bigger pot than this, that would be good. If you have one of those big Dutch ovens, go you. You're very fancy. I wish I had one. But we'll make this work. Now I'm going to add in those bay leaves. The recipe calls for 2, but mine were really small and I love bay. So I'm going to add 3 and just going to pop those into the juices. We're going to bring this up to a boil, put on the lid, and then let it simmer for 25 minutes. Now that it's done simmering, I'm going to give it a little stir, trying to take out those bay leaves as I find them, because you cannot eat those bay leaves, so try not to serve them. If you can't get all of them, if you can't find it, just warn your family if they see a giant leaf not to eat it. And then I'm going to take a fork with my spoon and just stab all the vegetables to make sure they're tender all the way through. And this worked great. I'm also going to taste test. Please taste test your food before you serve it. I had a little bit and I decided it needed a little more salt. So I added about another teaspoon and a half of salt. It looks like a lot when you're adding it this way, but if you were just to actually scoop it with a spoon, you'd realize it really isn't that much. I stirred it around and I let it cook for about another 5 minutes just to let that salt have time to do its thing. Found another bay leaf, took it out. And this was really good. I am going to have this over and over again. I like to top this with avocado for those healthy fats. I used 1 1/4 of an avocado for all 4 servings. If you see there that top where you peel off the seed and it's green, that's how you know it's supposed to be ripe. according to lore and legend on the internets. I cut this up while it's in the skin and then spoon it out. Add a little bit of lime juice. I prefer fresh lime juice, but I was out, which is why I like to keep this little guy in my fridge. This will help it from turning brown. Then I scooped out my portions. You can weigh this and then get perfectly 4 even portions if you'd like. Sometimes I'm more particular that way, and sometimes I just eyeball it like this. Kind of depends on my mood. So I eyeballed these servings. I did the same amount of scoops per serving bowl. And then I topped it with the avocado. Now, another way to keep that avocado from going brown is to kind of push the avocado down into the liquids, because it's oxygen that makes it go brown. So if you push it down in liquids, oxygen isn't hitting it, and that does help. I did show me warming this up 3 days later. I had 2 servings in there for me and my husband, and you can see how green that avocado is right there on top. No browning at all. Make sure you try this. 43 grams of protein for this. That's amazing. Now on to Sloppy Joe baked potatoes. I love these suckers. Any form of potato, I love. I'm going to start off with 4 about equal sizes of potatoes. Give them a good scrub and then dry them well. This will really help with that skin. A lot of the fiber and nutrients are found in the skin. So making the skin delicious, that way you want to eat it, is key here. Let's get all the vitamins that we can. Now I'm going to stab these about 4 times per potato with a fork just to help. I don't really know why we do this, but they say to, and I do. Now I'm going to spray it with oil and then sprinkle a little bit of sea salt on them. Turn them around, spray the next side with oil with a little bit of sea salt. Again, make it taste delicious. Now we're going to prep half an onion and 1 whole red bell pepper. Sometimes I use a whole onion if I feel like it, but since I had half an onion in my fridge, I'll go ahead and actually use the half an onion. I left mine in larger chunks because I like the texture that it gives to the Sloppy Joe. But if you want this more hidden, like if you're feeding children and stuff like that, feel free to give these a really fine dice and they'll pretty much disappear in your Sloppy Joe mixture. Now I have 1 tablespoon of oil in my pan, and I'm going to add my onion and my bell pepper and a little bit of salt and pepper. Again, I always measure those things with my heart and with my taste buds. I taste them at the end, and if I need more, I add more. While these are cooking, I'm going to make my little sauce so it's ready when I'm ready. I have 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard. I normally eyeball these because I cannot stand that half of the teaspoon gets stuck with whatever gunk you have. So then you're not even really half a teaspoon, and it drives me crazy. So I eyeball it. But for purposes like this where I'm showing you, I decide to actually measure. That was apple cider vinegar, 1 teaspoon, 1 teaspoon of chili powder, 2 teaspoons of soy sauce. Sorry for the rant. Now we're going to do 3 tablespoons of ketchup. If you want it saucier, you can add more ketchup, but the macros will show for the 3 tablespoons. I don't care if mine's very saucy because I put it over a baked potato. We're going to stir this together and just put it to the side until we're ready for it. Now that our bell pepper and onions are starting to get translucent, it's a good time to go ahead and add our beef. You can use ground turkey if you'd like. I normally use ground turkey, but I ate so much 99% fat-free ground turkey on Weight Watchers that I kind of burnt myself out of it. So I'm kind of in a ground beef phase, but feel free to use the turkey. Once that is completely browned, I'm adding about a tablespoon of garlic. I'm using the jarred stuff today because it just can't be bothered. We're going to stir that around for about 30 seconds. Then we're going to realize we never actually salted and peppered the ground beef, and then we're going to do that now. But preferably do that before it's cooked through. It doesn't really matter. It still tasted great. But now we're going to add that sauce and then stir it around really well. This was a little thick, so I added 1/3 cup of water just to thin it out a little bit because I want this to simmer for about 5-10 minutes, just for all those flavors to incorporate. And I'll let my potatoes cool for just a little bit. Now, I forgot to mention it at the beginning, but those potatoes baked for about 45 minutes to 60 minutes on 400. When they were in the oven for about 30 minutes is when I started the rest of this process. So you have, a little time to go sit down and enjoy your life or, prep all the ingredients. So to decide exactly how to track this, I put a bowl or container onto my scale, put all 4 potatoes in there, measure them in grams, write that number down and divide it by however many servings it is. So this case, 4 servings. That's how I decide how to track the amount of potato I ate. If you're going to eat all 4 of these, you're going to be right by the time it's day 4 because you're tracking the full amount of grams of potatoes. So cut it, but leaving the edges still intact, and then pinch it together. This is how you get that really beautiful blown out potato. Add 1 teaspoon of butter, 1 tablespoon of sour cream, 2 tablespoons of cheese. This is how I like mine. This is how I tracked it, and we'll show you at the end with macros. But you do you and do whatever you like. I also like to add extra black pepper because, I don't know, is that a Southern thing? Is that an everybody thing? I don't know, but black pepper is a must at all times. I'm not looking to get these perfectly beautifully baked potatoes because I'm going to rewarm these up later. So if the butter isn't completely melted or anything like that, I'll worry about that on lunch day. Now I'm going to add 1/4 of that mixture to the top of my potatoes and half a can of green beans per container device. I'm just going to top these with the Cavender's all-purpose Greek seasoning. I love this, the way this stuff tastes on pretty much anything, but particularly green beans. And here you have it. This will give you 4 lunches. I did 1 all at once just to show you what it's going to look like, but normally I do these in assembly line because it goes faster. So I'm just going to show you how that kind of looks in assembly line fashion. And let me tell you, it's a lot easier. It goes by a lot faster. Is it just me, or does having a baked potato just make you feel like you're living your best life? You're like, you're reaching your goals in eating potatoes. Like, what can you not do at this point? I'm going to add those green beans. I used 2 cans of green beans total for all 4 servings. And here you have it, 4 delicious lunches that warm up great in the microwave, which is key. So these have 33 grams of protein, only 523 calories. We have the last and the easiest option for lunch because sometimes you just need something quick. So I get different salad kits. This time I'm choosing Caesar. I like lots of different ones and I like to switch it up so I don't get bored. Take some chicken breast. I like to do the thinly sliced because they're even all the way through. That way they cook evenly so you don't have like one large uncooked part and then like the tail is like burnt to a crisp. A little bit of oil, and then this is the magic ingredient here, this magic seasoning blend, Poultry Magic. This tastes great with any salad. I have had it with all sorts of salads and it always tastes good. It's so simple. Let's get it done. So I have my air fryer, just spray it a little. I'm doing this one-handed so I can film with the other hand because I'm too lazy to go find my you know, that thing that you film with. It's nighttime here. I'm tired. All right. I'm just getting those in there so I can season them really, really well. I'm going to spray with a little oil, flip them over, and season them again. Now, sometimes I do this in batches, like if I want to make enough for 4 salads, but I would not make more than that, like more than 4 days worth. You can make more than 4 salads if you're sharing, obviously. I wouldn't make it more than 4 days out, just because I'm weird like that. And I do not like chicken rewarmed up, but the great thing about doing the chicken like this with the salad is it tastes great cold. So you don't have to worry about warming the chicken up. You just eat it straight out of the fridge. All right, I'm gonna put this on 350. I'm actually gonna check it in 8 minutes. These thinner guys can take less time, so I'm gonna check it in 8 minutes. I just did eye patches. Can you tell? I don't know. I've never done eye patches before. We had a little spa day, me and my daughter, like just at home. So nails are going next. But I had to get her in bed because spa day, mommy-daughter style, not actually that relaxing for the mom. Just fair warning. Let's get this done. The timer went off. I'm gonna use a meat thermometer to stab like the thickest, juiciest part. Sometimes these need up to 12 minutes. Sometimes they only need 8 minutes. It just kind of depends on how thinly cut they are. These are a little thicker, so I'm gonna go ahead and put them back in for about 3 minutes. So that takes us to 11 minutes. Before I open my salad, I like to go ahead and scan it in to my next day's lunch, because once you throw this bag away, you don't have it anymore and you can't just easily access that barcode. So I'm having 1.5 servings because this bag is 3 servings worth, and I'm making it 2 salads. And I'm gonna go ahead and add my 5 ounces of chicken breast because that's how much I know I'm gonna add to this salad. And there you go, it's logged in for tomorrow. Just gonna take a little screenshot so I can show you the macros later in the video. Get that saved and back to your regularly scheduled program. So meanwhile, I have scanned my package and went ahead and tracked it for tomorrow. I make 2 salads out of 1 kit. I like to put them in Ziploc bags with a paper towel. That's just lettuce, so that they can fit in here, but won't get soggy with the chicken and stuff like that. You can do the mason jar thing and make it all cute, but I feel like that's really not practical when it comes to actually eating. So once my chicken has completely cooled, I'll chop it, weigh it, put 5 ounces in here. Then I'll add my lettuce, and I need to separate this up, so I'll do that real fast. So basically, I'm gonna put half of the stuff in these little to-go containers. You can buy the kind that you can keep reusing. I need to do that, I just haven't yet. And we'll see. There might be too much dressing to go in there. I was just gonna do one of them like this and then keep the other one in its packaging just to save on plastic here. Basically, I just kind of find where the middle is and pinch it really well. And then I pour the top half into the thing here. All right, so one of them is going to get saved in its own packaging. One of them is going to get saved in this little guy. I also like to keep the croutons in packaging just because I like them to stay. Oh, I'm going to check my chicken. All right. We're wanting 165. And we're gonna be there. So now I'm gonna let these cool just for a minute in this air fryer while I'm finishing up on my cutting board what I'm doing. Then I'll move these to the cutting board and let them cool completely. If you cut these while they're hot, all your juices are gonna go onto your cutting board and you're gonna have a sad dry chicken versus a nice juicy chicken. So let them cool at least 5 minutes, like if you're gonna eat it right away, but cool completely if you're not eating these right away. Back to pajama cam. All right. So, ooh, he's a feisty little guy. I'm gonna do the same. Just gonna kind of pinch it in half for that side in the container. And then this one, again, will get stored in its own little thing. I'm just gonna put it into a sandwich bag that I can reuse. Last is the Parmesan. I'm just gonna put one of them. I'm just gonna eyeball this with a pinch. All right, so now I just need to weigh my chicken in once it's all cool. So I'll see you here in a little bit. The time it took my chicken to cool, we got nails, so hallelujah. I'm just gonna cut these into bite-sized pieces. I'll show you. You see how juicy that is? Yes, that's why we didn't cut it when it was hot. I cut 3 of them. That's probably gonna be all I need to get 2 salads. I'm gonna put my little food scale. There you go. This is gonna require 2, oh, nope, did it one-handed. See if you're gonna zero it out. wasn't enough. I gotta cut the other chicken. All right, we got there. Disaster averted. Oh no. Should have put a long ways. This is why you don't do stuff in the middle of the night. You're too tired. Your brain is not working. Make sure that paper towel is on the bottom so it can, you know, absorb any of the liquid. All right. There we go. Minimum effort. 2 lunches plus a little bit of extra chicken. Boom. Let's check those macros. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on Saturday. Bye, y'all.